At each school board meeting, staff members make presentations that highlight academic programs in the York County School Division. In January 2012, Tabb Middle School staff spoke to the board about the forensic science and criminal justice electives.
We move now into our accent on academics, and I'm going to turn to Dr. Williams.
Yes, this evening we are pleased to have a group from Tabb Middle School to present. I'd like to ask Susan Rue, principal, to start the presentation. She'll be introducing the other presenters. This evening's they're going to be highlighting two of the most popular elective classes for middle school students, and that's forensic science and criminal justice.
That's right. Thank you, Dr. Williams. As Dr. Williams stated in his introduction, we are here tonight to spotlight two of our elective courses for 7th and 8th grade students at Tabb Middle School, forensic science and criminal justice. These courses were introduced in response to the popular TV shows CSI and Law and Order. Forensic science was added to the program of the studies back in 2005-2006 school year, and criminal justice was added in 2008-2009 school year. Over the last 3 school years, over 500 students have completed these 2 courses. The instructional focus for forensic science is on the scientific skills needed for the investigation of crimes. Criminal justice focuses on the legal proceedings associated with crimes. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Howard, who is the teacher of both of these classes at Tabb Middle School. Mr. Howard?
Thank you, Mrs. Rue.
And no, that's not me sitting at my desk.
Good evening, Dr. Williams and school board members. My job as a middle school teacher of forensic science and criminal justice is to hopefully get the kids excited about the careers of science and law. And I do so by having the students participate in a variety of hands-on activities. Our mock trials are the highlight of our criminal justice classes. Students get the chance to play the roles of the prosecutor, defense attorney, bailiff, judge, members of the jury, defendants, and witnesses. Some of the highlights that we have for our forensic science class include blood spatter analysis, as you just saw. Students make heads with balloons and paper mache. We fill them with simulated blood, and we use a variety of instruments to produce blood spatter along our simulated wall. And this unit also includes a unit on blood typing. We have a forensic entomology unit where students actually use a pig's foot to simulate the body decaying. Students were working in pairs. They take the pig's foot outside in our courtyard, and they watch it decay for 2 to 3 weeks. They collect data. They make observations of the insect succession / migrations. They collect specimens and data, and all of this is in an effort to determine the postmortem interval. We also well, I will let my students here. I'm going to introduce them. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Ashley McClellan, Seth Pack, Hannah Robinson, and Cole Curtis. They're going to show you a couple of the activities that we do.
Okay, you're gonna help them.
This is the box that they're going to be working with here.
Okay, boys.
We are conducting a grid search to locate bones, weapons, and other possible evidence as part of a crime scene investigation.
Investigators first take a picture of the crime scene before anything is disturbed. Then they systematically dig up marked off areas around the crime scene, filter it, bag and tag the evidence, let's see, filter it, tag it back the evidence, and then put evidence on a grid map. The grid map helps the investigators know the exact location of where the evidence was located.
Okay. Hold on. You got it. Once all the evidence is collected, the investigators start putting the pieces together, including the bones, which are considered conclusive evidence. While we continue our dig, Ashley and Hannah will talk to you about foot impressions.
Shoe impressions are another impressions are another part of a crime scene investigation. After taking pictures, investigators pour dental stone into the impression as a way to collect impressed prints. In class, we made shoe impressions by stepping into a shoebox full of sand and spraying it with hairspray. After that, we poured dental stone low and slow as a way to collect the print.
Once the impression cures for about an hour, we pull the impression out of the dental stone. After gently removing the impression, we dust off any loose sand. Here's a sample of our shoe impression. As a follow-up activity in class, we are going to try to match the shoe impression with the shoe that created it.
That is the conclusion of our student demonstrations, and I wanted to see if you have any questions about either one of those courses for us tonight. Hopefully you can see why the kids enjoy taking these classes so much. And I did have the honor of finding a pig's foot in the courtyard recently that I think was put there a couple years ago. So I had a close encounter with one of those objects, much to my dismay. Any questions from you about our spotlight tonight?
I'm just curious, just for the students, if they could express any of their interest in careers in this field. Do we have any interest in those types of careers yet, or is this just sort of a...
They're very quiet all of a sudden. This has not happened in a typical middle school. I want you to know that.
Okay.
You know, I think that students at this age, and even in high school, they really don't have a clue as to what they want to do. So as much as we can expose them to things, it helps them to make a better decision in the long run. So our intent at middle school is exposure to as many possible fields as possible.
What's the total number? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did I say
Over
that?
500 students. Is that just for Tab Middle?
Yes.
Okay, so
That is just for Tab Middle.
Right. This program is at all 4 of our middle schools.
Exactly right.
So we could say thousands of children have been through this program.
Absolutely. And Mr. Howard also brings in numerous guest speakers from the community.
And I think this is one of the things, too, that this board, and I know I always like to appreciate, because sometimes it's a class like this that sparks that, you know, in that student to really enjoy getting up in the morning, coming to school, and enjoying their day. And then,
amen back.
Yeah, and sometimes it takes a course like this to really do that. And so the more options we can have available like this, and then also, you know, maybe even generate a thought of a career. Forensic science is a booming business right now, and there's not enough people trained in it. So.
Absolutely.
And I would like to get one of those T-shirts, too, at some point, too. So,
and I can say there are very, very few discipline problems that come out of Mr. Howard's class, because they are all actively engaged, and they love the gross stuff. So,
especially the pigs.
Yeah, and the blood splattering and all that. So
right
it's always fun.
Lunch, I can just imagine.
Any other questions or comments from the board? I don't know what got into them tonight. You guys going to be like this tomorrow? No.
No,
Okay.
This has been fascinating.
Thank you so
totally
much.
enjoyed it.
We
and I
appreciate the
think
time to highlight
If I
our
had to go
program.
back to nursing school, I would go into forensics again.
Okay.
Go back to forensics.
All right. Thank you so much.